So I'm Stephanie Holmgren, but I think you all know Erinne Tripp, who is my partner in crime here. Everyone on the call, I think especially, is working with Erinne. And we're really excited to talk to you today about OB, right? This is part of our PI learning series. And OB has become the hot topic and the hot button. And we want to make sure that you, as we mentioned, Dee, have the trust in it, know how to use it, make sure we teach you so that way you can teach the rest of the organization on how to implement it correctly. So that's what we're going to do. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with a poll. We're going to be a little interactive today. So you should be able to see my poll there. So what I'd like to gauge is which of these people challenges is most difficult for you or your managers today as we think about it. Is it hiring? You can answer multiple, right? If you're thinking about your organization, you're like, it's quite a few. Please feel free. It's multiple choice. Hiring, knowing the right questions to ask during the candidate interviews. We know that can be tricky. Onboarding, helping new employees connect, become more productive more quickly. Feedback, delivering clear feedback and addressing performance concerns. Coaching, making one-on-ones, coaching, development conversations more effective. Or conflict, navigating conflict and challenging team dynamics. I think everyone has answered, so I'm going to go ahead and, oh, yeah, I think we have all 7. Great.
Coaching for the win.
Coaching for the win. You see that, right? Coaching, making one-on-ones, coaching and development conversations more effective. Now, to anyone who answered coaching, do you think that's something for yourself, or do you think it's within the organization and the people leaders? Where do you see the most need? It could be both if you want to share.
Managers.
Sure.
Same here. We actually have data that was given to us by another platform, DDI, and it ranked as our lowest rated competency amongst our leadership. So we have some numbers behind that as well. So we're trying to push people towards Predictive Index so that they have that support.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's the hardest, that people don't give the coaching conversations, don't provide the performance feedback because they don't know what to do, or when they are providing the feedback, they're not delivering it in a way that's landing properly. And that's where like OB is kind of mind-blowing to me, because it's really giving those insights that are so spot on in terms of kind of the person that's delivering the feedback as well as who's, getting the information. So I think that's awesome.
And then the second highest was feedback. And we all know how feedback can go awry. I think we've all probably experienced that, right? So delivering clear feedback and addressing performance concerns. I imagine this might be very similar to your leaders and your people managers, right? Making sure that they have the tools to be able to accurately provide that insight. Is that right? Is that what you're seeing and thinking about in this conversation? Trish, I see a head nod with you. Yeah. People leaders, managers. Yeah.
They're just afraid to demotivate people by saying the wrong thing. They're
Sure.
afraid to give feedback that isn't heard correctly. They're not being clear. They're misaligned. Lots of different things that managers, rightly so, feel the stress of when they're delivering performance or critical feedback. Even honestly, even positive feedback can be challenging for people because they just don't know what to say. So it's just in general, having conversations with somebody who reports to them is stressful.
I see a lot of head nods. I also, when there is the people manager, right, and they ask for feedback, right? Can you provide me feedback, that upward feedback, how difficult that can be? Like where OB, right, can help support that is providing feedback, of course, to the person that you're talking to as people leader, but also putting it in the hands of people, right? Users who work at the organization who have to provide feedback on colleagues or provide feedback up. And we know how difficult that can be. So we know that these business challenges, I've got others from other talent development team with me. Oh, just to be transparent. Oh, okay. Jen, is that you?
Yeah.
I saw her.
Perfect. The more the merrier.
Yeah, more the merrier.
We love it.
So we know each of these challenges are, what are the real business consequences, right? So if those conversations don't go well, there may be that distrust, right, between the people leader and their manager. There may be that apprehension to do, and they may not be growing as a leader themselves, right? Where is that personal development coming from? If they're too worried, or it's not connected, or they don't have the right insights. And as an organization, right, we all want to be able to provide that to them. And that's where the PI kind of builds that OB into it. What more can we give the user, people leader, to get them where they need to be? So we've had all the experience. Everyone's kind of been into the software. Go ahead, Erinne. Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say now so that we don't forget about it, and I know that we probably won't, but one great thing too about Obi is that no matter what skill level people have with PI, we're going to show you this, but there's a toggle where you can change whether it is kind of more simple general speak and what or whether it's more technical scientific to really help people. Like if it feels overwhelming to people to get all that PI data with the A, the B, the D, the whole thing, you can toggle that and people can really make it so that it's something that's very easy to take in and understand and work with, even if they're not comfortable with all those factors. So just throwing that out there, and then we'll show you how to do that when we get into the software.
So that is such a good thing to talk about, right? As we think about, I think Lauren or Trish, you had said you're going to be rolling it out to your managers, right? What that looks like. And we know there should be people within the organization that should be PI certified, right? Have that language, that technical speak, right? So that way that's what you have that background. But in order to give it to the users, right, those people leaders, there is the plain language button, as Erinne said, and we can show you that today, that draws the line to get them more engaged that's the runway to get them more engaged, right? It's the ease of use. So I'm going to launch another quick question that I had before we jump into the software. Okay. So we're talking a lot about managers and leaders, right? Being able to do these things, right? We've addressed the coaching and the feedback. So what most often prevents managers from handling these people situations effectively? If you can think about it, are you seeing great? They're unsure how to approach the specific person. They lack the confidence, as we talked about, in difficult conversations. They struggle to turn people data into practical action. They do not have time to prepare as thoughtfully as they would like, or they rely on HR for guidance and support, which I know is in conversation that me and Erinne have a lot of the times. And it looks like there's two that are showing the highest, right? They lack confidence in difficult conversations, and they don't have time to prepare as thoughtfully as they would like. Does anyone who chose either one of those want to speak to either one of them? The lacking confidence part, maybe. Thanks, Dee.
It's just not an intuitive thing. There's kind of two things in it. Many people, and again, depends on how they're wired, but there's plenty of people who, for whom confrontation or the potential of injuring somebody's feelings, or our culture is one of care and respect, so people want to even step even more carefully to ensure that there's not injury created during the course of the conversation, and it just makes people really tentative. I had actually checked off, for everybody's benefit, I checked off all those. So yep. All true.
Yeah, that is the common experience, right? And they don't have time to prepare as thoughtfully as they would like. I think that's kind of why that use case, why kind of we're all here today, right? It's not just the plain language, but it can get you there that much faster to be able to not just pull the reports, but understand the information that much faster. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you for answering those questions for us. It's something that Erinne and I are similarly seen throughout our conversations, where OB can help close that gap for you and your people managers, right? That's what we're looking at turning that into. So we're going to walk through a live demonstration now where you talked about use cases, right? What are we seeing? And we're seeing a lot of onboarding recently, right? Sorry, let me back up. Before you onboard someone, you got to interview them, right? And it's being able to prepare and understand what are the right questions? How can I interview them correctly? What do they need? What do I need to know? So we're going to walk into the software. We're going to walk through just an example of what the
Mhm.
best case on how to do it, and then kind of go from there. Erinne, does that sound good?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
And to all of you guys, like we're just really making this very informal, but more just trying to show you what Obi can do. As Steph's getting ready, one of the big things to remember is that you don't have to have the perfect prompts. You don't need to, have a full like story and, whole thing to go into. But if you just start small and ask a question, you can build on it and it just continues to give more information. So we just want to show you kind of how easy it is, how you can kind of pull things through, and just, give you a little bit more familiarity with what it can do.
So in this case scenario, we are going to be looking at a candidate. So as you can see, we're in the account here. I'm going to go to jobs and candidates, and I'm going to go pull up our candidate, Alyssa, who is our candidate here. I'm going to pull her up. So Alyssa has come in for an interview, right? We want to have this conversation with her. The value here is I want a more intentional interview, right? I want to explore those areas of alignment and misalignment. What are the right questions and how do I interpret that? So, Erinne, if you want to go walk through this part
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So the easiest way to use Obi, you can get to Obi from any page. So it doesn't matter where you start the conversation, but you're going to have the easiest kind of entry if you're going from a person page or a job page, whether it's in Hire or Inspire. So as you can see, Stephanie went in, Alyssa is applying for a sample job, right? So by pulling up Alyssa's record, it's automatically tagging her. So she's here and the sample job. So Obi knows that we're looking to kind of understand something about her with this job. If we don't want to talk about the job and we just want to talk about Alyssa, you can X that out. But for purposes of this, what we're going to do is we're trying to understand kind of Alyssa's applying for this job and Stephanie's going to have some kind of pre-populated, kind of prompts that we came up with to show you. So because we already have her tagged with the job, you don't need to add anything here because it's already inserted in there. If you're going from like the home page and you want to know about Alyssa and the sample job, you'd want to put at Alyssa Young, click it on that, and then at sample job so that it knows what you're looking for. Now, if you don't do that, the best part is that Obi will ask you what you're looking for. It'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't know who you're talking about. Like I asked something and I kind of shifted gears too quickly. And Obi was like, are you talking about this person or are you talking about this person? So it's intelligent enough to kind of pull you back in to help get you where you need to be. But for this purpose, we have Alyssa tagged, we have the job. So what we have here is based on the behavioral profile and the requirements of the job, what areas should we explore during this interview? Simple, right? So again, it doesn't have to be something that's super complex. It's
Yeah.
just a good place to start. And you can be more complex. You can tell a story. I've talked to Alyssa. These are some issues that we're having. Help me create some questions that can dig deeper into this. But what we're doing here is just showing you something a little bit more on the basic side, just to start. And then one thing you'll know is as you wait for Obi to generate a response, if you try to scroll down before it's done, it will push you back to the top. So it's just thinking. So you just need to give it a little bit of time before you can start to scroll down. We are set up with the technical language. So this is going to give us really the information about, her profile. So it's showing the profile, it's showing the job target, and then it's going to give these insights. So it gives some ideas of what we're looking at, and it's going to talk about, the drive and pace. It's going to talk about, I'm not going to go into all the things, but just kind of generally show you, some information about her, and then actions to explore in the interview. So relationship building and influence, comfort with visibility and frequent interactions. So it's going to go into it and it's going to take Alyssa and it's going to take this job target, and based on what we asked, it's going to give us some information that we can read and then determine, A, does that answer my question or do I want more? Right. And then a lot of times what it'll do is it will give additional information or ask you another question. So here, one thing that you'll see at the end of the prompt is that it says, for more accurate answers, you'd benefit from organizational context. There is a section where you can add your organization's website. You can add information about culture and values. It just gives more insight into the organization so OB can start to understand you. It is not required. It's just something that can be done if you want that to be done. So that's the first place where it kind of gets started with Alyssa. We could then further, ask a question about, something specific, and Obi would give us more information. Obviously, for purposes of time today, we're not going to dig too deep into it, but just want to kind of show you. Any questions on what you just saw? Okay.
Has anyone used it this way yet, thinking about the interview questions? Or had any of your people leaders? Not quite yet. We know that the interview guide is always helpful. And then this on top of that, right, could help support those leaders who are maybe newer at interviewing, right? Or haven't had the experience yet of someone so different, not who's going to be on their team, right? There's a couple of different pieces and ways you can think about using it.
You could also throw in, the hiring manager, something like, Alyssa would be working with this hiring manager. Give us an idea of how they might work together. I mean, it can really go in so many different ways. One thing to note too is that OB does have some blockers, or it will not tell you who to hire. It will not tell you who's the best person. It will not tell you who's the worst person. It won't tell you who's the worst fit on your team. It's always going to say, I don't have the ability to do that. So you do have those blockers where you're sending people out there, your managers that don't have a lot of experience. It's not going to send them in a direction that's going to lead them towards something that making them misinterpret the data.
Absolutely. All right, so we have Alyssa. We asked her some interview questions that would help address where she aligns with the role, right? I'm going to go ahead here. And then we're going to hire her, right? We've decided that we're going to move forward. We're going to hire her. Now we're going to onboard her, right? And we know that onboarding can look very different, but it can be similar, right? What I mean is that you may have a plan within your organization, that this is our onboarding plan, our booklet, but OB using that as the next phase on how can I do it best, right? How can I get them there faster? Or if I'm so different and I'm onboarding someone new on my team, how can I best do it, right? That's what we're looking at. So in this case, I'm going to go here to Inspire. I'm going to pull up, again, my new hire, Alyssa. And we're going to start here from Ask OB. Again, this pulls in Alyssa, as Erinne had mentioned, and I kind of created this prompt. Erinne, if you want to talk about that.
Yep. So Alyssa's been hired. One of the things that I think most of my clients miss the opportunity to really get the most from PI is onboarding. It's a really simple way to understand kind of how somebody likes to learn, communicate with somebody in a way that's really going to resonate with them, help them get up to speed as quickly as possible. OB makes it so easy that it's like a no-brainer. You can ask OB to create an onboarding plan for you that will break it down the first day, the first week, the first 30 days, 90 days, and you can customize it by throwing in all sorts of different information depending on, this is Alyssa's team, this is Alyssa's hiring manager, whatever you have. So this right here alone, I think is going to be something that really changes the experience for new hires at organizations that do decide to embrace this. So our question is, I'm onboarding Alyssa into the role of sample job based on their behavioral profile. Help me create a tailored onboarding program and provide some insights into how I should adapt my style. So now, this, Stephanie is driving. So this is automatically when she says it's automatically going to pull her information. If OB is not sure who is leading this conversation, it will ask. But this is going to pull, so it's going to pull between Stephanie's profile and Alyssa's profile, as well as thinking about Alyssa aligned with that job and how we want to be able to help get her up to speed as quickly as possible. And again, OB will generate, the more it's going to provide, the longer it'll take, but it tends to be pretty quick. So as you'll see, it typically starts off with some insights and then it'll give an explanation. And then in most situations, you'll end up with kind of a step-by-step plan. What's interesting is when we have used these prompts, it sometimes comes up different. You get different things kind of at different times, depending on what you're asking. I just love to continue to kind of add more as I'm looking to get those answers. So here we go. So here's our insights. She's likely to onboard best with a program that's structured, clear, and uh, quality focused. So what we're thinking about is she is a controller. So this is somebody that really needs to have that feeling of like, I understand what I'm doing. I know the structure. I need to be able to be an expert. And so this is giving those insights for her. So if we scroll down, it'll then give an explanation around Alyssa, what she's going to bring. And that means, what we need to do to help ramp her up best. So speaking up quickly with stakeholders, building visibility across the team, working through less defined situations. These are all things we're going to help her do. And then here's where it says to adapt your style. So this is Stephanie. So Stephanie, based on her profile, working with Alyssa, she needs to be clear and organized when assigning work. She needs to explain priorities, success measures, decisions, because they're very different people, right? So this is going to help Stephanie understand, all right, well, not only is this how I should tailor this onboarding program for Alyssa, but here are the places where I might need to adapt my natural style in order to kind of have the best experience possible for her. Does that all make sense? Okay. Now here we go into week 1, create clarity and stability, management approach, week 2 through 4. This will keep going. And again, you can add and ask questions. This is something that it just keeps giving you more, and it'll ask you, do you want me to do this? Did this one do that at all? No, this one's just asking,
Nope.
saying you can have the organization. So this you could say, can you make this an easy to share document that I can share with the hiring manager? And it will put it together in a really nice, clean visual that can be cut and pasted and created into something that you can share. So that's, again, something to kind of play with, like asking it to do things like I did, like I said, I used it with my daughter and I said, make this easy for me to share with somebody. And it created something that's not as much information, right? Reading through too much can be a little bit overwhelming. If you want to be able to just share this with a hiring manager, you want it to be simple, not something that feels like a lot or a heavy lift. And that's what Obi can do. Questions on that?
Yeah, Lauren asked a question in the chat. Is the job info limited to what is already part of the PI software, or can OB leverage / copy and paste descriptions to provide similar results?
I'm not sure what you're asking. And feel free to speak up if you want to just talk, Lauren. And if you don't feel like you have to.
Because I know that like the way that we engage with PI, we don't have a lot of jobs in our system. So I'm wondering if I have access to a job description just like
Yes.
on our career site, can I copy and paste that, put it into OB in the same kinds of things, minus
Yes.
the job target is okay.
Yep, for sure. Yep, absolutely. So
Cool.
that is something. And if and when you start to use like the job targets, you could even take those job descriptions and ask Obi to help give recommendations on what Obi thinks might be that target to kind
Oh,
of
nice.
see kind of where it falls in terms of where you landed with the target and where the job description itself, because that's not going to have all the behavioral pieces of it, but it kind of pulls it all together. So yes, for sure. Great question.
Yeah, Lauren, that's a good question. We also have another question, Erinne. If we set OB to PI language in your own internal account, does it change for everyone in the organization or just for you?
Great question. Yes. So and actually, Stephanie, while we are here, why don't we show them how that works? So it is just yours. And one thing to know too is anything that we type into our own OB, so this is Steph's OB, this is just in her login. I can't go in and pull anything to see what she's asked. She could be like, I hate Erinne Tripp and I can't stand working with her. It's not going to pop up anywhere for me to be like flagged, like somebody's talking about you, right? So it's very much confidential. It's very much kept right in your own software. And then for the settings, Stephanie clicked on, did they see how you did that? If you just go back so they can see it, go back to the yeah. So there's our OB chat. If you check on those three dots, this is where you can go to settings. And then here is where you have the opportunity to change from plain language to technical language, and that is just for you. So it will not change the whole organization. The organization settings, what is that? Let me just see that one there. Oh, this is where you can add the context related to the organization. So if you want to put in the company website or you want to put in context that's going to help give insights into kind of, the values and the culture, you can do that here.
I
And who
assume,
has access to that? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I assume that is me specific and it's not everybody. Like I can't say to OB in this space, upload our competencies and be like, use these across. It's just gonna use it for
It's
me.
just for you. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, that's for you. There may be, and this is a situation where because OB is so new, we've only had it since the 15th of June.
June. Yep.
It may be a scenario where the account admin may have an overarching ability to be able, because I know that the account admin can turn off OB. So if organizations don't want OB to be available to its people, it's either on or it's off. So you can turn it off. So if people are afraid of AI or not afraid, but not willing to kind of open up that gate to their people, it can be turned off, but that's only from an account admin um, uh, functionality. I think there may be a way also from the account admin for that person to enter the information that they want to have entered, but then people can also add more. OB will also start to get to know you just like ChatGPT does. Once you've asked questions, Steph, if you click on those three dots again, you also have a chat history. You can go back into your chat history. And if these are all different things that we've asked, so if I know that I have one that I talked about with a person and I want to go back into this chat, or if I want to just say, Obi, do you remember when I asked you about Alyssa Young? Um, Now I want to ask this question. It's going to pull data from what's already been in there. So it starts to learn about what you've been talking about, what's been recommended, and you can always go back to your chat history. Good? Okay. And Steph, if I miss anything, just obviously.
No, yeah, no, you didn't. No, that's great. So we talked for the onboarding process, right? The manager now knows how to best communicate, provide support, get them there faster. How do you see this as a benefit to the organization? Does anyone see how this could benefit even just a few of your managers that are on your team? I see some like head nods. Lauren, I know you're processing, thinking about your organization, right? Like how this can get that information. And then what are the benefits of that, right? So we know that's a faster time to productivity, right? A better new employee experience, stronger early connection, right? Think about all the benefits that come from just that really good onboarding experience. So just wanted to highlight that as well. So the next use case is performance conversations, right? Something, as we talked about, our people leaders could use some support in, right? So we're going to put in a prompt today as we think about a one-on-one, and I have to provide, as myself, I'm Alyssa's manager, right? I have to give her some performance feedback. So I'm going to go back, search her up. I'm going to ask Obi. I'm going to put in my prompt here. I'm going to leave it in the same question. So as you know, I'm Alyssa's manager. Oh, sorry, Erinne, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Yeah, I need to give her performance feedback that's going to be difficult for her to hear, right? Whatever the circumstances is. I didn't share everything, but I just wanted I needed Obi to know that. How might I tailor this conversation in a way that will resonate best with her, right? It's less right now about me. I could ask that question too, but I'm asking about what will resonate best with her? How can I make sure that she actually hears, right, the feedback I'm trying to provide?
And while this is thinking, one thing that I did, I've played around with this too, and Obi at one point asked me, it gave me insights like this. And then I think I asked something else and it asked me specifically what it was that I had said, let's just pretend, Alyssa, I just gave Alyssa Young um, some difficult feedback and she seems disengaged. Can you help me, tailor a conversation to understand kind of what's happening? And it gave me information, and then it came back and it asked me, well, what feedback did you give her, and how do you know she's disengaged? And it asked me a couple different ways to like kind of highlight it to help it know like what was happening, and then it proceeded to give additional feedback depending on how she reacted. So if she's not happy about the feedback or the conversation, if she's kind of combative or if she's upset, these are ways to kind of tailor the conversation to be able to chat with her in a way that's going to work. So continue, Steph.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so we asked the question very similar before, the insight, the explanation, right? So that way it gives you more information. And then it provides actions, right? Tailor the conversation in these ways, meet privately and without rush. Choose a setting where Alyssa has space to think or respond without feeling exposed. Lead with purpose clearly. And I love this, right? Start with a simple statement such as, I want to talk about a performance concern and make sure we are aligned on what needs to improve. Giving those suggestions, right, where it's just phrases to start with, allows the people leader to feel more confident. And that's what we're all trying to do, it sounds like, right? What should I say? Like, it's great that I know this about Alyssa, but what do I actually say to make sure she can hear it? And this will provide suggestions, and you can keep asking. Give me a couple more phrases to start with. If she's combative, how should I respond first, right? Keep the message organized, avoid overly emotional language. I mean, this is also taking effect into me as a collaborator, right?
Mhm.
Where I might really lean in, my high B might really show, and I might want to react in a different way than I should, right? As the leader too. So I have to start thinking about that, be clear about expectations, pause for processing. That's a good reminder for everyone. Invite dialogue, but keep structure. And then again, it goes back to these questions and be able to share that insight.
Oh, and then they get like
Opening.
a sample opening. I love all this stuff.
So we all kind of see the value. I see lots of like head nods, right? What that looks like, what that can do. When you think about that manager, right, that could benefit from this, right? What could it give them, right? It's that confidence. It's the clearer accountability for both partners involved. And then the more productive outcome from an HR perspective. Great. Now we have a good outcome and we can move forward just using just this part of the software. So I hope that's helpful. Are there any questions where we said, Trish, yeah, you came off mute? Oh, no, just ask. So I'm going to ask you, yeah.
I hope I didn't, because my dog is having a nervous breakdown.
Oh, no. Is it the thunderstorm again? Is it?
And there's a plumber here, so it's so many
good
things.
times. Good
Grooming
times.
this morning, thunderstorm now, plumber as well. All the things that my dog loves. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So I'd love to hear from you if you want to share or if you want to put it in the chat. But thinking about what you saw today, right? Where do you see the greatest potential value for your organization? I think it helps Erinne and I, as we continue to have those conversations, understand. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Helps us understand where you can see value and what we can share and continue to follow up on, and help support within your organization. So
It also,
yeah,
oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
Erinne. No.
I'd also love to know, we're trying to spread the word. We're trying to, kind of be able to chat with our main points of contacts as we are right now, but how can we make this as easy as possible for you guys to really be able to introduce this within your organization, expose people? What do you need from us? It's such a simple tool. It's not something that you don't need. You can't break it. Obi has the guardrails, so you're not going to get something where it's telling you to fire somebody. What do you need? What would be the most helpful to all of you in order to make you feel confident and comfortable kind of introducing this to your people? I'd like to throw that out there too.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you guys don't feel comfortable, or you're not ready to kind of share that because you need to kind of think about it and ponder, feel free to share that with us later too. This is not the end of the conversation. Obviously, we're here and all ears anytime you guys want to share anything.
I think it'd be helpful to have a list of the things that managers can ask, which I'm pulling together, but like, why would a manager want to use OB? And just to share what's been really helpful here at my organization is that it has been helpful to show the things that OB can or cannot or will not answer, because there's a concern of OB giving bad advice or saying things it shouldn't. And so what I've done is prompt it with things like, who's my top performer here? And it's like, I can't tell you that. Here's what I can tell you. And they've been really receptive to seeing what it won't answer.
Uh-huh. Love that. And just so you all know, Steph and I have a call today with with the partner network talking about exactly this. So we're going to be able to go to a larger population of people and share these ideas as well. So everything you give us it helps us to just make sure that we're able to give you, really what you need to make this successful and as easy as possible. So love that.
I
Um, Go ahead.
I shared this with Aaron already, but happy to share with the group. And it kind of sounds like we've got similar cases here in some sense. But I'm really looking to expand access to predictive index insights across the organization. And so thinking about once we're comfortable to kind of let people have certain levels of access in the platform, some kind of bridge, like some kind of guidance that I'm not sitting there with them. And I know that it's intuitive, right? They really don't need that, but like the bridge guide to going from deep dive PI session, let's say as a leader, and gaining access to the PI platform to be able to see your team and interact with OB and all the things, like kind of that first, you're going into PI for the first time, how to get started.
Yeah.
And again, let's say for leaders, we'll cross that bridge first, and then we'll get to, we'd love to open it up more wide than that, but
Yeah, that's super helpful. And we have getting started demos that show each of the different pieces of software, but Obi is not in any of those. So I feel like it would be really helpful to have something where, um, even just like an updated version of it that makes sure that we're showing them, okay, now I have access. I log in, now what, right? So now that the software is all separate, there's one for hire because you don't have access everybody doesn't have the same access, but you can share those videos. They're really nice and short. They're very, very well done. But Obi's not there. And I think Obi is one of the main pieces that's going to make this whole uh, just the process so much easier with giving people access because they have that knowledge right at their fingertips. So yeah, thank you, Jen. I'll make sure that we address that too in our next call.
yeah,
Yeah, Jen.
maybe it's those videos with OB included, right? Like if
Yes.
this is someone's first time going onto the platform, like they don't know if that OB hasn't been there before. So like fold it in, like this is
Yep.
those videos plus OB. Yeah.
Yep. And we should probably also have Finn, who's the chatbot that tells us how to do all the technical pieces. So not how to analyze the data, but how do I run, how do I create this or how do I do whatever. So yes, this is all great feedback. Thank you.
So Trish, when we thought about your managers too, there is this OB by the Predictive Index manager prompts, if you can see my screen, and this is something that you can start your people leaders with, right? So this is about me, relationships, growth and skills. They have these themes, right? Self-concept. And then the theme of understanding them, stress and relationships, development, coaching, and self-concept. So it kind of gives some ideas. What are these great for? Retention and planning. It's here's another prompt based off this person's alignment to the job target. What strengths are well matched to the role? What are their growth opportunities? I think, Lauren, you had mentioned it in the chat, succession planning, right? This included with the hiring component, looking at the coaching, succession planning, right? These are all areas that leaders can use. Jen, we started as a PI team, a short YouTube page where we're doing some how-to videos, and some of those are topic-based, right? How to provide feedback and using certain parts of the software and what reports would be good to use and what to look at. But you're absolutely right. We need to start updating now that we're, 30, 60 days in with including those to OB, and we'll be sharing those. Absolutely. We'll start working on those as well.
I'm pretty sure, Steph, that there's, and again, to everybody on this call, because this is also new, we're still trying to kind of navigate where everything is, and they're continuously bringing more out for us to use. But I'm pretty sure there's also a prompt library that we can potentially put out on our Learning Hub for everybody. And we should share this information after the session.
Yeah, Trish, I saw, where can I download it? I will absolutely send it with the link Erinne's talking about for additional prompts. There's one page specific for HR too that might be really beneficial. So I'll include both of those. I see you excited. I'll include both of those, and then there'll be an updated link where Erinne and I check on, we're still in beta, let's be honest, right? So all this input, all these updates, we're getting all this great information all the time. So we'll continue to share that as well.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions or anything we could answer? Anything we haven't thought about yet? I heard that maybe the talk feature might be next in one of the conversations I heard. You know how like in ChatGPT you can just talk to it and it captures all the information you're saying. Think about the ease of use of that. That could be coming down the line too as they start gathering what the additional needs are. So that might be something that might be really beneficial, especially for those of us who work from home and just talk out loud anyway, right?
It doesn't matter where I'm working. I talk out loud all the time, no matter
There you
what.
go.
So
Yeah.
Obi would be like, "What are you asking me now?"
Yeah.
Was this
So
beneficial to everybody? We can definitely give you some time back. I know everybody's super busy. But please know, like, this is stuff that if you can't tell, like, we're really passionate about this. We really want to make this as easy as possible for all of you. So as you start to do whatever you're doing, whether it be with OB or just PI in general, we love feedback. It could be constructive, it could be positive. It doesn't matter, but it helps us to really be able to tailor, like, how can we best support you? How can we give those insights to PI to let them know, what it is that the users are really looking for. So we really, really, highly encourage you to share whenever you have thoughts.
And we're happy to help out on those calls and those rollouts, right?
Yeah.
Erinne and I are lunch and learn queens at this point, right? We don't want you to feel like you have to do it on your own. We're absolutely here to help support any rollout that you need or any additional information or training sessions too.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for coming.
Awesome.
Really
Thank you
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
guys.
Thank you. You'll
Really
receive an
appreciate it.
email later from me.
Yes.
Thanks.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Al.
day, everybody. Good luck with the thunderstorms.